Professor, she really was a pioneer. What do you think that she will best be remembered for?
Good afternoon, Danica. Well, look, she'll be remembered as a feminist icon who championed gender equality and equality before the law. She'll be remembered for some of her court cases, getting equal pay for the lady who worked for the Goodyear company, and making sure that VMI, Virginia Military Institute, took in women into their classes, a very serious military academy, which is a jumping board for a career in Virginia. And she'll be remembered for doing it the hard way. You know, she had all the things going for her that law schools and the judicial system wasn't interested in the 1950s and 60s. She was a woman, she was Jewish, and she was a mother. And, you know, there wasn't any place in those law schools for those kinds of people. And she didn't get her clerkship that she wanted, so she became a pretty good lawyer and then a law professor. I wonder where Barack Obama got that idea. And then she got her appointment from Bill Clinton to join the Supreme Court, where she's just been a marvelous influence on, or countervailing influence on the conservative leanings of the court. And so if she couldn't persuade the court, in her opinion, she wrote these wonderful dissents, which took a lot of time and effort, and she was sort of a pioneer. But, you know, the interesting thing is, in her 70s and 80s, she became a rock star. You know, she was picked up by social media, by the young kids, by opera, music, and all the rest of it. I mean, it's not too much to say, and I say this affectionately, you know, Elvis has left the building. You know, she was a rock star. The only mistake she made was tactical. She should have retired when she was 81, when Barack Obama could have replaced her with a similar liberal-leaning justice, but she didn't. She held on. I don't know why. You know, it's always important, you know, to sort of reflect and know when to quit in your business, but she didn't want to quit for some reason, and she went all the way. And, you know, the interesting thing, too, is that even people on the court who disagreed with her, like Justice Scalia, regarded her as one of his best friends. So, you know, she made friends everywhere, and if you couldn't agree with her, at least you had to accept her judgment. Now, I think this is going to be very tempting for the Republicans to try to replace her while the campaign is going on. Now, there's all kinds of tradition here about you can't do this, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you can do this. Donald Trump isn't interested in tradition or what wasn't done the last time. And the thing is this. Trump's Senate has brought in the idea or the notion that you can get a justice up with 51 votes with a simple majority instead of the supermajority of 60. And there is a fear that if they ram this through and the Democrats take over the House and the Senate, they'll add 3 more justices to the Supreme Court. And packing a Supreme Court is a very tempting idea. Franklin Delano Roosevelt tried it in 1937, got a black eye for it because it went against too much tradition. But, you know, the other interesting thing is this campaign is all about the performance of the president, the coronavirus. It's about Biden's ability to do a better job with the economy. All these important things are now set aside for this political appointment. And I think this will energize the president's base because they want one more justice in there to make damn sure that Roe v. Wade is not overturned. The pro-life crowd will be chomping at the bit to replace her as soon as possible. Of course, the pro-life people won't like that very much. So now we have another very unexpected dimension to the 2020 election, which I remind your viewers is 47 days away.
Yeah, it is 47 days away, and certainly it'll be interesting to see how this plays out following Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death. I just want to go back on her career itself. You mentioned her work for gender equality. She really was a feminist and really helped push that movement. What sort of a course did she set for women in the United States?
Well, she made it look like you can do it. You know, the only thing that succeeds is like success, as Bob Dylan used to sing about. Yeah, you know, and she worked for the American Civil Liberties people, and her first gender equality case was about some guy who wanted the same benefits that his wife would have got if she stayed home. So she could see very quickly that it was important to incrementally build up her case for gender equality. She saw it was very important to build up precedent. And when she got to the Supreme Court, she understood the value of creating a judicial consensus on going forward. So she did a lot of powerful things, and she did them all the right way. I don't see any missteps in her career, except when she stepped into the last election and did an ad against the president, that was quite unprecedented and would have really got the Republicans quite nervous because these justices just don't do that kind of thing. Now, justices are not elected, but in recent years, people assume that the president has a list of candidates that they like to look at, and maybe you start to sort of indirectly elect them. That's not how it's supposed to go. Some very important judge, some appointments were supposed to be conservative, like Earl Warren, turned out to be a leading liberal, so sometimes you get the wrong thing. But I'll tell you what, if you give a man or a woman with an independent mind a tenured position for life, they may surprise the hell out of you.
That's a very good point, but certainly she was a trailblazer, as you said, so she will be missed, that's for sure, in the United States. Just finally, on the election trail, President Trump is maintaining that mail-in voting is a threat to the election, but also this week an FBI director testified that ongoing Russian disinformation campaigns are the real danger. What does the Russian president want?
Yeah, the president answered that question in response to the FBI director saying that the Russians are once again a malignant influence in the political process. He says the FBI director says that they have not affected the infrastructure, that is, they're not counting the votes, but they've penetrated social media, YouTube, phony accounts. They're getting everybody stirred up. But look, during the Cold War, everybody interfered in everybody else's election. So I'm sure that Putin has a special unit out there. It's been caught a couple of times, as a matter of fact, stirring up as much controversy as possible, adding conspiracy theories. But, you know, at the end of the day, people who are going to vote for Donald Trump really don't care about malignant Russian influence. People who don't like Trump don't care about malignant Russian influence. It's that 10% that haven't made up their mind at the last minute. Well, look, the fact that the Russians do it in an overt way, along with the North Koreans and probably the Chinese. Everybody's got a player here. The Chinese really don't want to see Joe Biden in there, and Putin doesn't want to see Biden in there because he can get a better deal from this president. But they're pushing that kind of soft power. They're trying to influence the American public. And I don't think the American public needs too much education here. It is a malignant influence, and from time to time, things get really out of control. But the fact that they can enter the cyber sphere so easily and without penalty is extraordinary, and it may have an influence. And this election may come down to, I don't know, 2 or 3 percentage points, and maybe that's enough to tip it one way or the other. But I'll tell you what, the president has a clear road to the Electoral College, while Joe Biden has a clear road to the White House in terms of national polls. So these debates that are coming up at the end of September, I think will be crucial in deciding what happens for these people who haven't made up their minds.
Absolutely. Okay, well, less than 2 months to go. That's all we have time for. Professor Joe Siracusa.
Thank you very much.